Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the day 2 of the Remote Workforce Summit organized by Kalish Times. I would like to thank our sponsors, Automation Anywhere, Nutanix, Blue Prism, Oracle, TeamViewer, Poly, ForcePoint, Tata Communications, Software AG, Mindware RSA for showing massive trust in our capabilities. The day 1 of the summit was a fantabulous success, and we're hoping that day 2 exceeds our expectations. For our first session, I would like to talk about future of workforce, and I would like to call on the virtual center stage Mr. Krishnan Gopi, the Chief Disruption Officer, GEMS Education Group, UAE. Krishnan is a strategic technology leader with over 2 decades of international experience and a successful track record of spearheading technology-led businesses and their transformation for Fortune 100 companies. So here is calling Krishnan to talk about the future of workforce. Krishnan, over to you.
Thank you, Mitsu. I hope you are able to see my screen.
Yes, very much so.
Perfect. Good morning, everybody. I hope that all of you and your loved ones are doing well and staying safe. Now, we know that COVID-19 is one of the worst pandemics in the history of mankind, killing scores of human lives. Well, it turns out humans are not the only ones that are being killed by this deadly virus. With those unprecedented steps taken by businesses across the globe in working digitally, in ensuring that their business is continued, I believe the traditional office environment as we know it is also dead or dying in best case scenario. We are going to see in this talk, we're going to outline the evolution of what is the new normal for the workforce as we know, and what key technological trends that are expected to drive the digital workspace of tomorrow. Let's go right in. Over the years, our office work environment has significantly changed. Now, you are seeing what it used to be before in this, in this image, completely cluttered with congested work environments and affecting the actual efficiencies and creating a negative impact. Poor seating arrangements leading to decreased productivities. Now, modern days, the workforce spacing has considerably improved with results in higher efficiencies, with evolution of ergonomic furnitures adding into comfort and creativity, etc. That's from a workforce spacing perspective. Now let's look at the technological advancements in terms of equipments. I'm sure some of you, if not all, would remember those punching machines, typewriters, telephone, clunky equipments, the famous dot matrix printer that kind of sounds and invites the whole office to it, and the fax machines, etc. Now, this is how the equipments were from the workforce of yesterday. Now it's completely changed with all those biometric equipments coming in, the workforce collaboration tools, IP telephonies, web conferences, remote working style, etc. So we saw how the spacing has improved, how technology is improved as well. Let's look at the people actually. The workforce of yesterday wasn't that collaborative at all. It took nearly the last 10 to 15 years in increasing the agility and collaboration, etc. The workforce of today is more collaborative. They don't follow a traditional approach to work. They are agile. They are in groups. They ensure that ideas are shared and implemented in a collaborative way. Now, what lies ahead, what is the future, is completely global connectivity into the workforce, and the future holds a very significant impact on how the workforce is going to be managed. And it's going to be virtual, it's going to be having pockets of offices, pockets of resources across the globe, working as one single office. And that's the future that it is, in evolving. Let's look at what is the shifting landscape from a workforce perspective. Now, flexible working has always been on the rise with or without COVID-19. If you look at the percentage of employees working 1 or 2 days a week before COVID, let's underline that word, before COVID, it's been 62% of global average of companies that are allowing some kind of remote working. Yes, it is very, very low in UAE. It's only 10%, but the global averages has been increased by countries like Australia, Germany, US, Netherlands, etc. And around 62% of firms are allowing this kind of, have been allowing this kind of flexible working. And we're also seeing that some of the world's largest economies will have a great economic boost, as much as 4.5 trillion in the US and 1.4 trillion in China and 376 billion in India, by allowing this kind of a remote working. Now, what are all the key benefits of these flexible work arrangements? It's also kind of ensuring that the talent is more retained and attracted in the first place, greater productivities, improved work-life balances, and predominantly of also reducing the costs as well. So this is how the flexible workforce has been on the rise before COVID. Now, COVID has accelerated these kind of shift into the digital workforce. Let's look at the key statistics, how COVID-19 has changed, right? COVID-19 has been a big catalyst in organizations supporting this, remote from home. 31% of organizations have moved into the remote workforce, after the COVID-19. Collaboration tools are on the rise forever. I will cover that in a minute. For simple example, from just 10 million in December 19, Zoom has reached 200 million daily participants. You can see the scale of how that rise has been. Now, with every single digital transformation uprise, there is also some disadvantage that comes with this. Cyber criminals are working overtime. The URL attacks have increased 260 times, and spam attacks increased 220 times between February and January. Now, remote workforce also, remote working is also, boosting the productivity. Research says around, 35 to 40% of productivity is seen on the people who are working remotely than, a traditional way of working. And OPEX decrease is one of the biggest significant benefit from remote working. That's also seen that more than 77% of the senior executives say that remote working is going to be needing their cost rationalization or cost savings of operational costs as well. So this is all that what we have seen, the trends that are created by the COVID-19 and all. So as I want to reiterate, so as we saw, current workforce environment as we know it is dead or is slowly dying. Now let's look at what the future workforce is bringing to us. Future workforce is set to be remote for a foreseeable future. It has also opened really critical questions out in the world about the nature of work itself. Do we really need those fancy physical offices? Do we need those employment visas? Do we need a H-1B visa to go and work in the US, wherein that particular person can absolutely work in the remotest part of the world and still will be serving, probably, producing more work than the traditional, person who's sitting in the physical office. And, it's also going to be that the productivity is measured through outputs, no more on inputs or no more on mechanisms of how many hours you spend on office or how many, what are the visible ways of, you showing your presence. It's going to be measured of outcomes. So future of workforce is completely going to be very different than what we know today. Now let's look at a simple workforce maturity matrix that we could think of drawing into it. Now, one is completely reactive with zero plans to go remotely, to all the way up to number 5, which is completely artificial intelligence enabled and being agile. Now, most of the companies are between number 2, matrix number 2 and matrix number 3, and there are advanced companies who are reaching from 4 to 5. But majority of the people are seen in this level 2 and 3. Key guidelines to improve how we can all go into this future workforce is about setting a clear vision and ensuring that we follow up with a strategy in having a remote distributed work with specific guidelines from a people, process, and technology. Promoting an internal culture of agility is very key as well. After you set the vision and strategy, it's about promoting the culture as well and defining flexible physical and digital workspaces, because it's not going to be completely remote to start with. It's about having to reach there by creating flexible physical and digital workspaces as well, and investing in accelerated development strategy for staff as well. Staff, are the employees are the key to this, being successful as well, and fostering an innovation mindset to reimagine the business operations, and to have an enhanced agility and efficiency as well is important. Now, how did we go about in doing in GEMS? Now, when the pandemic hit us, most of the schools were struggling to go remote. We were the one of the very few groups were ready in remote learning. This is due to our sustained investments on technology and on people for many, many years before. And, we began from the position of strength when other schools were struggling. And from a corporate perspective, we had absolutely great business continuity planning, our own IP suite of products that, we implemented years ago that has helped, and our information security with MDM enabled, also protected our corporate data. For schools, it's a complete success story with our own intellectual property suite, with a great comprehensive remote learning plans and a great quality assurance program. We led the way. Over 19 million, remote learning sessions has been conducted with flawless execution, attended collectively by our students, and more than 96% of our students and parents are happy about it. We're not stopping there. We are implementing blended learning as an integral part of our education system going forward. We're also developing advanced learning and teaching products for the workforce of 21st century, including AI-driven robotic teachers, virtual teachers, extended reality learning, and online schools, to name some of them. Let's look at the key trends that will drive the workforce of tomorrow. And these are all the 10 key trends that I wanted to leave it with you as the talking points, that will reshape the workforce of tomorrow. Number 1, public cloud adoption will absolutely accelerate. We've seen the increased usage of SaaS solutions, cloud-based infrastructure. This only will rise more and more because it gives you that flexibility of quickly ramping up and down as your business demands. Number 2 is desktop as a service. DaaS will see a big surge. Already, it's expected to grow for 44% of CAGR, from 2019 to 2023, and it is more secure than your BYOD program. So we believe that the desktop as a service will definitely have a big surge. And of course, all those workforce communication tools, the collaboration tools will definitely modernize how your employees work together. This will bring more collaborative efforts, and there will be a lot of AI, artificial intelligence into those collaboration tools as we see it. It's about raising hands, it's about ensuring that, it's situation aware and all these things that will also be raising. Number 4, critical one, systems of agreement will increasingly become digital, paperless. Because it is going to create a lot of cost optimization. It is going to increase the efficiencies and customer satisfaction in terms of getting this contracts digitally signed and automated workflows, etc. And we see that this particular industry will grow 200% by 2022. Now, artificial intelligence will drive the show. It will create agile and better prepared future workforce. Now, organizations are already looking at creating agile workforce enabled by artificial intelligence, machine learning, cognitive workflows, and it will only grow. And this industry is trying to, almost grow CAGR of 50%, 46.2% to be precise, from 19 to 25. And most of the jobs that, as you see today, is going to be having an impact using artificial intelligence. So this is something that is a critical trend for us to know. RPA, robotic process automation, is going to be used by many industries in redesigning their business processes, in streamlining the experiences, operations, and to enhance the productivity levels. Now, Gartner says that enterprises will probably reduce their OPEX costs by 30% by using RPA technologies. That's a key trend that we see. Mixed realities, especially in many industries such as telemedicine, consulting, prototyping, live events, field services, engineering, design, manufacturing. There are many industries. This mixed reality is becoming one of the next big computing platform, and we will see a big rise on so many enterprises using this immersive technology in the future. DevOps, a combination of software development and IT operations in delivering a completely process-oriented automated delivery, will see rise because it in a way brings that efficiencies in a remote working workforce, and it's very ideal for remote operations, as pundits call it. So that DevOps will lead the show in software development as well. Now, another important trend is about continuous intelligence. Analytics combined with IoT will drive deeper insights and will enable businesses to take better decisions and increase their market share. This is an important point, that information security threats will also increase. As we are implementing digital transformation initiatives, we'll also see security threats will grow. So we would have to invest on enterprise software, information security software. Market will also be increasing. Those are all key trends that I wanted to bring it to you, and to reiterate that the workforce as we see it is almost dead, and we need to be able to evolve into the future of workforce, and these key trends will come true, God willing. Thank you so much for patiently listening to me, and I'm more than ready to take some questions if we have time. Mitsu, over to you.
Hi, Krish. We do have time for one question. If there's anyone who wants to ask a question, please do so now. Krish, just give me a moment. We'll just see if there are any questions coming up.
Sure.
Krish, I do have a question.
Sure.
Would remote learning for students impact their behavior and interactiveness in aspect of their life positivity?
It's a great question, right? I strongly believe blended learning is the way to go. Even if it is an online school, even if it is a remote learning, the blended perspective where the social interaction with the students, the social interaction with the teachers, and ensuring that people are given that ability to go and interact, participate in collaborative exercise will be the key. So it won't negatively impact as long as we have a good mix of blended learning associated with this. Then I would not see a negative impact at all.
Thank you, Krish. Thank you. That solves a lot of queries with a lot of parents, I'm sure. Thank you for such an informative session, Krish. And thank you all the attendees for attending. I would now request the attendees to join the next session, on automation and the future of supply chain by Asha Divakaram from RSA Global. For the next session, you can just go on the right side of your screen and click on the session and you'll be able to join. Thank you once again, Krish. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.